So each platform just usually emphasize the tools. So they'll teach you SQL, teach you Power BI, teach you Excel, but then you don't see how all of these tools come together, and you don't see what is required of you as a data analyst, like in a day-to-day job. So you just learn the tool. For instance, I'm not trying to like play down on any platform's course or curriculum or anything, but then when you take, for instance, the Google Data Analytics course, the first one, you're just they're just touching on everything. You might finish taking the course and then you really don't even know how to use all of these tools, or how to combine everything together, or how to actually work as a data analyst. So I feel that the major challenge was the big picture, right? So on this fateful night, I had a dream, right? So basically the whole essence of the dream was for me to learn data analytics, and then I needed confirmations, and then I started to ask God for some confirmation, and then it came. So I decided, oh, this is what He wanted me to do, and then I went into it. I started teaching data, I think 6 months into learning. That's when I got the job with Udacity. And then since then, I believe I've taken courses in virtually every edtech platform: Udacity, Udemy, Coursera, Utiva, anyone you can name. I've taken a course there because I'm always constantly learning, and I've found their strengths and their weaknesses. Right. When I started learning, I think immediately after the first course with Utiva, I just started applying for jobs. So I was applying for like 10 jobs every single day. I go on LinkedIn, apply, go on Indeed. I was just applying for any data job I saw, whether I was qualified or not. I just kept applying. So for Udacity, to be honest, I don't even remember when I applied for Udacity. But the funny thing was, I was actually taking the Udacity course when they responded to my application and told me that they would like to interview me, right? So I was still learning the course they wanted me to be a tutor for, right? So I was still in the process of learning the course when I got the job actually. So it was actually so funny, but it was tough, but I did what I could.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first session of Real Time with T and M in the year of 2024. Okay, so this is so by the time this video goes live or goes public, this will be our first video of the year. So it is an opportunity to say compliment of the season and a happy new year to every one of our viewers. My name is Abefe, and I'm using this opportunity to welcome you guys once again to Real Time with T and M Data Untold. I am not alone. I have the tableau girl with me. I have the fine girl with me. I for no hail you, but let's just take it away. I have Maureen with me. So Maureen, say hi to them.
Hi guys, it's been an incredible 2023, and like Abafa said, this is our first video ever in 2024. And like you said, by the time it goes live, I don't know when, but however way, Happy New Year, guys, and thank you so much for the feedback we got during our last session with Mr. Adewale Yusuf. I think that should be my all-time fave right now. Even I got feedbacks from people of the data space on how his story actually inspired them. And I know you guys are actually inspired too by the story and also the journey of Mr. Adewale Yusuf. And with no further ado, you guys know how we do it. We have an incredible person again in our midst, one of your data favorites. Yeah. So we're not going to waste so much time. And can we bring up to stage Gabby?
Yeah, a round of applause as I bring up Mr. Gabby himself.
Hi guys. Hi Abefe. Hi Maureen.
Hi, Gabby.
Thanks for
And
having me.
Wow,
yeah,
good.
thanks for showing up. I want to say something first before we start. Look at this man. By the time he's going, he has to drop money for the real time with C&M a
Yes,
podcast
yes, yes. I
because
agree. I
I
agree.
think
No,
so far I think
Send your
so far
answer.
is the freshest
Mm-hmm.
of
Freshest.
all our speakers.
Hey,
Is the freshest of all of our speakers. I'm not even going to mince my word right here. I think so
I'm
far
trying
he's
to
the
be like
freshest of
you,
us.
Adefe.
Don't even whine me at all, Gabby. But it's fine, Sha. How are you doing, Gabby?
I'm okay. How are you?
It's so nice to have you. Thank you very much. So, Maureen, please do the honors.
yes, guys, you know how we do it. We get to introduce our speakers first, and we tell you all about speakers, our speakers track record, and then we jump right into the conversation. So, who is Gabby? Full name is Gabby James, or James Gabby, sorry. And we all know him as Gabby on Twitter. And Gabby is a senior data analyst with over 5 years of experience in tech, automobile, and education industries. He possesses an extensive experience in business and people analytics with proficiency in Python, Tableau, R, Power BI, and of course SQL. Gabby is a session lead at Udacity and a tutor at Lighthall, and he has mentored over 5,000 students all around the world. Currently, Gabby is working on building the biggest data school in Africa. Guys, please make welcome Gabby one more time.
Yeah, a round of applause for
Yes.
Gabby. Yeah, you can see that this guy is literally loaded. Is actually loaded. I will still come back to that last
Yeah.
part. He's building one of the biggest data. I would like him to talk about that. But before we jump into that, okay, um, I won't call it a fact, but there is this sort of correlation between people in the tech or the data space having a non-background in anything related to data. So let's go back. How was school? So what university? What did you study in school? So what was it like?
Um, Thank you. So I don't have a background in. Okay, I wouldn't say I don't have a background in tech, because I actually studied automobile technology, which has tech in it, but it was basically cars, nothing to do with. Maybe a little to do with computers, but really nothing to do with what I'm actually doing right now. So I went to the Federal University of Technology, Mina, and I studied automobile technology. So automobile technology is basically it's like a branch of mechanical engineering, but it deals solely with cars. That's why you can say that my handle is the Niger car guy, because I'm into cars. So yeah, it has really nothing to do with data analytics, but here I am today.
So that means if I want to buy a car, or you can recommend car for me.
I can sell to you. I sell.
So you are the law of Lagos in the data space.
I beg you, I'm not up to all of Lagos. So
So that you
no,
can be telling us, he is plenty. Look at this
I'll
car.
never be
Take a
poor.
look at it. Okay, like that was actually so nice. I didn't know there is actually a course called so what do you call it again? Automobile.
Automobile technology,
What I know is mechatronics, and I feel like like that is like a combo of of mech
mechanical and
engine and
everything.
elect. Yeah, exactly. Well, that really sounds nice. So, what was the passion? Like, what was the zeal? What pushed you to come from automobile down to data? So, what did you say?
Why did I start data?
No, I won't say why did you start there. Okay, maybe why, but what did you see? What pushed you? What was the reason? What was the motive?
Uh, I would say divine leading. So I think that's what God wanted me to do. That's a short answer.
Okay, like that's just literally like it's a divine, like you just felt like you needed to have to, so like you prayed about it.
I didn't. I just. It was just out of the blues. God just told me, do this, and then I did.
So wait,
Wow,
let me
that's
get
actually, I
this.
think that's like the,
I prefer let me get this because this is now
yeah.
sounding so interesting.
All right, no problem.
Yes, a lot of speakers we bring on the stage is
Mm-hmm.
either someone introduced you to data or you stumbled on. I know Anoma was like a little bit of this Google form stuff and she found it interesting. So are you
Mm-hmm.
saying you just woke up one day and decided to, oh, I think what I'm going to do now is data? So there was nobody trying to tell you or hold you by the hand or something like that.
So before I started data, I don't think I knew what data analytics was. I'm not going to say I don't think I'd heard of it, because right now I can't really remember if I'd heard of it prior to when I started, but I knew I didn't know anything about data analytics or tech. So on this fateful night, I had a dream, right? So basically, the whole essence of the dream was for me to learn data analytics, and then I needed confirmations, and then I started to ask God for some confirmation, and then it came. So I decided, oh, this is what He wanted me to do, and then I went into it.
I think this is one of the most beautiful responses I've heard.
Thank you.
Yeah. But are you
There's
serious?
a longer story, but for lack of time, I think that's like the gist.
Yeah.
No,
I think I
I'm
actually.
afraid that is lack of time. Don't even say yeah. We have
Yeah,
all
like
the
let
time.
him even gist us
This
first
session is
because
about you telling your story.
yeah,
Yes,
please
Oh, so
so
you
you
say.
want
want?
the longer version?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, please.
All right. So it all started on a fateful day in in October 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a dream. In the dream, I was working as a data analyst with my cousin. My cousin is in the US right now, so I was working as a data analyst with him. And then when I woke up, I was wondering what the dream meant, because I know I didn't know what data analytics was, but I just knew I was working as a data analyst then, right? So I ideally, when you have a dream, you usually do not just jump on it or start working towards it, because I mean dreams could come from a couple of different sources. It could be through God, it could be your mind, it could be a lot of other things. So I prayed and I asked God for confirmation, and I felt I got like two confirmation, but then the confirmations felt like it could have been my mind. I wasn't so sure it was still God. So then I prayed again, and then I told God that if He really wanted me to learn data analytics, He should have a friend suggest it to me, right? So I think the next day or 2 days later, my friend just came to me on WhatsApp, and I was like, Alpha, I want to learn data analytics for Utiva. Are you interested? So I took that as my confirmation, because it was just random. It was out of the blues. So I told him I was interested, and then we both registered for the course on Utiva together. And I took it, I think, January 2022. And that's how the journey started. So, yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So you mean
That's
you started your journey? You mean you started your journey January 2022? That's
Hmm.
like 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. I prefer proceed with your question.
yeah, yeah, we'll come. You will actually come back to that because I'm like, wow. Because when I got into the Nigerian data space, Gabby was one of the, if I'm mentioning the top three educators on data that I like, you know, you're like one of the top three that I respect, and I like the way they structure their videos, their content, the way they carry their audience. Gabby does not really tweet too much on Twitter. He just come talk about his Python, and I have my class, and he just put and it goes. It doesn't really, you will literally not see Gabby in much of any conversation in having a use bar chat here, use pie chat, Python over R. It's always just laser points on. Oh yeah, my class is my first course is going, and I think like that was our first few confrontation, like what we just talked, and I like, wow, this guy's a really really a nice guy, and a cool guy. So okay, Maureen, you have something for him.
Yeah, a couple of stuff. I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah,
This way you're
please go on.
complaining about that. Please, I need you to relax because I have like the first question would be about what Abafe said when I was reading your profile about you starting out the biggest data school in Africa.
Hmm.
That's like very, there are dreams, but there are dreams. So that's like a very big one. So can you walk us through maybe the idea that led to that? What are you currently working on, and how is that going for you?
Okay. So before I started teaching data, I've had some teaching experience. I've taught a couple of times, just like Abefed does. I've actually tutored people on school courses. I've even taught secondary school students and the like. So teaching is not something that's new to me. But then I started teaching data. I think 6 months into learning. That's when I got the job with Udacity. And then since then, I believe I've taken courses in virtually every edtech platform: Udacity, Udemy, Coursera, Utiva, anyone you can name. I've taken a course there because I'm always constantly learning, and I've found their strengths and their weaknesses, right? So because of this, I've decided to build a product that caters to the parts where each of those platforms do not do so well. So, for instance, Udacity is so fast paced. So, they have the learn by doing approach. They don't pamper you at all. They just give you like a very tough task and they require you to like go on the internet and learn. Um, Coursera on the other hand, self-paced videos. Utiva on one hand, live bootcamp. So I'm building a platform that picks the strength of each of those platforms and combine it into one, right? So I've realized that there is no singular platform, or maybe I'm not aware, but I feel there is no singular platform that allows you to learn at your pace and also permit you to join live bootcamps. So I'm building a platform that has 24/7 support. So whether you're learning at your own pace through recorded courses or you're joining a live bootcamp, whenever you get stuck, you can always reach out and have someone you learn with, have someone that can unblock you whenever you're stuck. So basically, that is how the platform or the idea came about. Just taking courses on these different platforms and finding out their loopholes. Yeah.
So right now you're saying you want to have like this whole stuff like 3 in 1, a 3 in 1 kind of stuff, right?
And all-in-one kind of stuff, self-paced learning, live book camps, live support, basically everything together.
Mm,
Yeah, that makes
amazing.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
it
sounds like.
does.
So I want to ask you something. As an educator, I'm also an educator, so obviously I think I can resonate with you quite well.
Mhm.
As an educator and someone that has been teaching data analytics for like almost over a year now, I guess, almost 2 years. So
Mhm.
obviously we have an influx of data educators in on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and everywhere. But from your own perspective, so my first question is, are we doing data education right? Or do you think the Nigerian, let's leave the world or Europe or anything, so the Nigerian data space and all, are we doing data education right?
Uh, I believe so. Why I think so is that so there are a couple of reasons. Firstly, I would say it's the fact that I've had international students. I still also have international students register, and these international students, prior to taking my course, a couple of them had taken courses in their home countries, right? And after taking my course, they usually attest to the fact that this is more value than what they've ever gotten, even in their own countries. You understand? So I feel that we are doing something right for us to be able to pull in, the international audience. Number one. Number two is the fact that um, a lot of my students have actually landed jobs during and after the boot camps, and in these jobs, they usually attest to the fact that the skills they learned in the bootcamp are currently what they are putting into practice on the job, right? So you pick up on new tools and all, but they usually say that what they've learned in the bootcamp has gone a long way in helping them find their fit at the job. So I think with these 2 points, I feel like we are doing the
Mm,
education part right, although it could be better. There's always room for improvement. I feel that we can actually collaborate with companies to export talent, place people on jobs after they've learned. Because if the curriculum is all right, then I mean, what is left is for people to actually get the real hands-on experience. So there's usually room for improvement, but I believe we're on the right path. We've not been at this for a long time. We're just
yeah.
we're just starting out, and I think we're doing well.
So excuse me, Amarin. So do you think it makes sense if we have like, how will I put English? A kind of like a structured university stuff for data analytics, data science. Like, do you think it makes sense that way, or rather, we should just stick to having courses everywhere from here and there.
What do you mean by structured university?
Like meaning like a proper course of data analytics, like a BSc, probably MSc, like we'll have it like in university stuff. So which do you prefer, right? Or which do you think makes sense?
Um, I'd buy into the idea of having data analytics as a course in the university, but I feel that um, it will give room for limitations or mediocrity. What I mean is that I feel 4 years feels like a really long time to actually study data analytics. Uh, it's not because I'm still learning even after 2 years. I mean I'll still be learning even after 5 years. So I don't mean it in the sense that 4 years is a long time to learn data analytics. What I mean is that the university is going to stretch the curriculum, and then they are also going to include other things that are not entirely data analytics. That is why it's a university. You're not going to learn just the specific course that you registered for. You're going to learn other things, and also the curriculum is going to be stretched. So maybe you might have Python like maybe once a week, and if you're doing once a week for an entire year, that's let's say 52 weeks. Meanwhile, that 52 weeks could be crammed into 3 months or say 2 months in a fast-paced boot camp, right? So having a data analytics course would help. I mean, it would create some sort of strength or credibility to your certification. But at the same time, I feel that if you can, get it in a boot camp or something faster, I don't think you should go and spend an entire 4 years learning data analytics. But I mean, it's a welcomed idea if
Mm,
if the curriculum can be really good, and if it can cater to all that you would require once you come out of the university. If it's not just on the basic level, these days, when you go to school, all that is taught throughout the 4 years is just basic. Once you come out of school, you still need to learn a whole lot. It feels like you've not even learned anything at all. So if it can be all encompassing, then I feel it can be like a really great idea in Nigerian universities. I mean, data analytics and data science is a course overseas. I don't think there's any Nigerian university that offers it, but I think it would be a great idea.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. So now, when you were learning, so you started learning data analytics like let's say 2 years ago. So during your learning phase, now I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the viewers, of the beginners watching this video. What challenges did you meet? Obviously, I know it was not a sweet ride. You understand? You had some bumps and hits, all of that. So what were the challenges that you met when you were learning as a
I would
student?
say the major challenge was seeing the big picture, right? So each platform just usually emphasize the tools. So they'll teach you SQL, teach you Power BI, teach you Excel. But then you don't see how all of these tools come together, and you don't see what is required of you as a data analyst, like in a day-to-day job. So you just learn the tool. For instance, I'm not trying to like play down any platform's course or curriculum or anything. But then when you take, for instance, the Google Data Analytics course, the first one, you're just they're just touching on everything. You might finish taking the course, and then you really don't even know how to use all of these tools, or how to combine everything together, or how to actually work as a data analyst. So I feel that the major challenge was the big picture, right? So all these platforms just register you, teach you the tool, and then you go out there and you're as clueless as you were before you started. So that was the major challenge: seeing the big picture, seeing how everything come together, and seeing what is required of you as a data analyst.
Wow. Okay. So if if you were okay. So from your own end, so did you have to do any other extra work to clear up? Because I think you took okay, wait. What course did you take when you were learning? Is it the Google data or which one did you take?
I've
Like
taken
your
every
first
course.
course?
Every course.
No, like
Okay,
your first, no, your first course, your first
the
course.
first one was with Utiva.
Utiva. And I think at least you had one or two few challenges with them,
Mhm.
like really pace their and everywhere. So does that mean after learning from them, you have to go and do? a whole self learning from your own end to actually make up for what they missed or something? Or how do you get better? Or how do you now have a solid is a solid stand of, now I'm a data analyst, I can call myself a data analyst? If these guys didn't really do well for you, but they just touched everywhere, so you have to go and do something somewhere, somehow, to get this better. So what did you do?
So I'm not saying they didn't do well. They all did well in their own ways. You understand? But like I said, there's usually like a little loophole. They all did well actually. Um, so the good thing was I had a lot of free time on my hand. Um, I didn't have a 9 to 5 because I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So I didn't have a 9 to 5. So I had a lot of free time. While learning, I was always watching YouTube videos, testing out what I was learning. And I just had it at the back of my mind that I was always going to take a course. There was not going to be a time when I'm not taking a course. Even right now, at the moment, I'm taking a course. So it helped that I was always taking courses. At the point, I was taking 3 courses at once. There was a point I was taking the ALX course, I was taking the Google course, and I was taking one CFI course together. I had to drop out of one eventually. So it helped that I was taking courses from these different platforms because um, when a particular platform does not explain something well or explains it in their own way, you get to see that explanation in another platform and it starts to make sense. You start to piece things together. So that is the good part of learning from different platforms. Some platforms, for instance, the Utiva class, the SQL instructor was so good. I remember it vividly because of how good it was. That was 2 years ago. The SQL instructor was extremely good. It was a lady. I don't remember the Excel and the Power BI classes so much. But then from the Google course, you could tell that they did a good job talking about R. So there's a particular tools or particular parts of each course that stand out to you. So I feel what I did to help me was take a lot of courses. I took a lot of courses and I also relied heavily on YouTube. So if there was something I didn't understand, I go on YouTube, watch like 5, 6 videos about it. If I still did not understand it, I'll try it again. But the trick is just to keep learning. I think at a point it just clicks and then you're like, oh, so this is what I've been trying to grasp. So just taking a lot of courses and trying out what you're learning. That's what helped me.
Mm, okay. Yeah. So if you're
Great.
not doing data analytics, what thing will you do in the data space?
What would I be in the data space?
If you're not doing data analysis, let's remove DA. So what would you have done?
Data engineering. I'm learning that also.
Oh wow. Oh,
Mhm.
that's a good one. So Mari, we wanted to say something.
Yeah, a couple of questions though. You said you started with Udacity, if I'm correct.
Utiva.
20, Utiva,
Mhm.
you started as one of their tutors, six
Okay,
months.
you mean started working or started learning?
Started working
Udacity.
Udacity six
Mhm.
months into data analytics.
Yeah, I started the job 6 months, but I got like some months prior to that.
I still don't get it. You were trying to learn. You're trying to learn what data is all about, and all of a sudden, let's say in 4 or 5 months, you're already getting a job with Udacity. How did you do that?
So when I started learning, I think immediately after the first course with Utiva, I just started applying for jobs. So I was applying for like 10 jobs every single day. I go on LinkedIn, apply, go on Indeed. I was just applying for any data job I saw, whether I was qualified or not. I just kept applying. So for Udacity, to be honest, I don't even remember when I applied for Udacity. But the funny thing was, I was actually taking the Udacity course when they responded to my application and told me that they would like to interview me, right? So I was still learning the course they wanted me to be a tutor for, right? So I was still in the process of learning the course when I got the job actually. So it was actually so funny, but it was tough, but I did what I could.
So Audacity
that
paid you to be a student and also paid you to be a tutor.
Exactly.
So Mario, you want to say something?
yeah, that was a big one because not every one of us get this kind of opportunity
Yeah.
because a lot of people have to study, have to read, have to build visualizations like man, do SQL projects before they could land the job. And talking about job, as I was going through your profile, I saw that you got an offer, an international offer that at the end of the day it fell through because of location bias. So
Mm-hmm.
how did you feel at that moment? Because anybody will get international offer like this, we are talking about dollars, like a lot of dollars. So how did you feel when you got that, news? Oh, we thought you were in the US, but you're not here, so we can't go on with you. Did you like have the Japa feeling,
Um, for you to have seen that, that means you actually really stalked my page. So, um, so I applied for a job. I did first, second. I did all the interviews. They onboarded me, created my email, added me to their Slack groups. Everything. It was the Monday I started the job, and all. And then they sent a tax form for me to fill. And in the tax form, I think I saw social security number. So I was like, social security number, and it was mandatory. You understand? If it was optional, I knew there was like. So I saw. Then I reached out. I was thinking of not filling the task form yet. Still stalling until I've done like a couple of jobs so that they can say, "Oh, you've already started. Just continue."
yeah,
But then I had to send them a mail. I was like, social security number. I am not in the US because the job description said remote. There's remote US, but they didn't include the US. They just said it was remote. And so immediately I sent the mail. It was a tough one to send the mail actually because I mean the money was good, but I don't think I don't think there was a question if I was going to send the mail or not because I mean it was the right thing to do. Number one, and number two, I think I felt confident that more opportunities would always come my way. So immediately I sent the mail. I didn't get a response. All I noticed was that they kicked me out of Slack. Removed my email. Everything they were just offboarding me. Everything was just disappearing. And I was like, oh, now, wow, this would not even at least tell me, we are sorry for the stress or
Bro.
compensate me with. So it was crazy. It was crazy, actually.
Like wait, sorry. It just went like that. These guys didn't tell you. They just off you like that.
They reached out later on, but they had removed me completely before they
Free
actually
from
reached
are you serious? Maybe not some. I've experienced something almost similar to this. When
out.
this guy, they just off my account. So I was working with these guys, and I don't know what happened. I just saw error 404 on my account. I also error 404 on my site. I don't say you don't bust. Now later, the con they tell you say we cannot continue with you because of the location. The same thing too. They
That
off
thing is
and
sad,
I've
man.
well, my own was that I've made money from them. You understand? I've worked for like I think I've worked for like 3 months, 4 months with them. Did not realize probably my accent, or so probably they realized that, or probably the way I was, probably I showed my video like, Baba, be UL more wako. He's not from Texas. I'm seeing Lady. I'm supposed to be seeing Texas. You understand? So I just logged in that morning as usual to go and work, and I just saw error 404. Sorry, 403. And error 403 is like they removed you, you've been shot. Are you serious? These guys are wicked. Though. At least just let me know. They remove me from everywhere. I think 2, 3, 4 days later, they now sit and say, excuse me, sir, blah blah blah. I'm not like, nah.
That's the same thing they did. They reached out later after they had
You don't
removed.
roll that way. Those guys are. I'm sorry. Hope it didn't affect you mentally. When was this?
Um, was it last year or last 2 years? I can't
that was
remember.
last year.
Last year. Oh.
Did they help and they answer your question again, auntie?
Because I don't do my due diligence now.
You did well. You
like
actually did.
Give me a range of how much they're like willing to pay per month. A range.
It was it $25 per hour. I think it was
Wow,
twenty
that's
five
a good
dollars.
one.
It
That's
was
if
good
you
money.
work for like as a Nigerian, you get that one. You go work for like 12 hours now. I'll be five
But
or 10
the
hours.
funny thing was, even after the offer, they were like, "Would you like to negotiate your offer?" In my, in my mind, I was like, "Negotiate what? Please pay me the money."
Yeah, that was actually so
I
that
know
means
it
if you
was.
work for like let's say 10 hours in a day, that's $250 in
Mhm.
a day. In a month, that's almost like seven
But the,
five
but the work
one.
hours were not that much. I think the work hours were
Okay.
like 5 hours a day or something like that.
That's still
At the end of
fair.
the day, it was still good money,
125. That's still fair. Well, it's fine. It's all for the best. So after that, did you get any other thing, something, how did you cope? How did you pass through it? Did you cry? Did you vent? How did you like process the whole thing?
No, I didn't cry. But it felt bad. I
Yeah.
mean, but like I said, I knew more opportunities would come, so I wasn't so bothered about it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mm,
Because I feel like if you have the opportunity to get a $25 job per hour, eh, that means you still have the capacity to get more.
Hmm.
So at that moment, what you should be happy about is so I can get through this interview stage, so I can get
Exactly.
through, like, yeah, I can get this. That means nothing is holding me back to get more. Well,
mm,
yeah, I have another question. Of course, your profile, very huge. A lot of us get to tilt towards either we are doing the more of the programming aspect of data or the business intelligence or the visualization aspect. But you, you have like everything altogether. So, as an educator, do you think we should have this bias? Me, I'm more of the BI part, Tableau's, the Power BI, and SQL. Maybe Python in the future. Abafe here is more of the research, analytics guy, statistics, mathematics. There are so many facets of it. So, as an educator, do you think this is good, or do you have to have everything integrated? Like, do you have to learn everything?
You don't have to learn everything. You just need to learn enough to be able to do your tasks as a data analyst. So, sometimes you can do your task with just one tool. For instance, some people just use Excel and they do their tasks comfortably, right? Some people even work with just Excel in their companies. So you really don't have to learn everything, right? Just you can touch on a little bit of everything. So for my bootcamp, for instance, I teach Tableau and Power BI. I'm not going very in depth into Tableau. I go more in depth into Power BI, but I just wanted them to know that you can also learn Tableau. You just introduce them to the tool.
Yes. Make sure you
Yeah,
integrate. I'm a pro Tableau. Sorry. Please make sure you teach them very well. You can even drag those Power BI out, drag them out, and put them into Tableau,
so the
right?
choice
But
of Power BI is because for this part of the world, Microsoft has an edge over other companies. That's
yeah,
why
exactly.
I chose that.
mhm,
But yeah, you don't need to learn everything. Just learn enough to be able to do your task. If you realize that there's a task in data analytics that the tools you've learned is not enough for, then you can go ahead to learn other tools. But you don't really need to learn everything.
mm.
Amazing.
Okay, so
When he was
I want to ask you
talking,
something. Okay, please go on, Maureen. Please go on, Maureen.
when he was talking, he mentioned that even the people or the students you've tutored actually got a job, right? So the question is, of course, I know you'll be part of the process of them trying to get an offer. Maybe when they started the first phase, the second phase, the third phase. So I'd like to ask this question. I am more of the acronym of STN, which is the skills, the project and the portfolio, and the network. Between these three things, as an educator and also someone that has seen how the job application is, which of these three things do you think we should um, be more knowledgeable on? The skills, the project, or I know they are all important, but which one do you think is more important than the other?
Um, in the real case scenario, it should be the skill, right? But
Okay.
we've seen stories of people who have gotten jobs over people who are way more skillful than they are, just because they've been able to network and you know. So skill is usually the most important, because I mean, if you cannot deliver, then why are you on the job? But network has a huge part to play, especially in this part of the world. So most people that have gotten jobs in this part of the world has been through referrals, or knowing someone who knows someone, right? Even if you might not be so good, you might be mediocre, but once you're able to like know someone, or once you're able to manage people also, or you have good people relation skills, you can actually get a job. And you might not even be the one doing the bulk of the work. You might have to like delegate and stuff. But ideally, skill should be the most important. Project is just to show what you can actually do. It doesn't really. I can go and copy a project somewhere and put it in my portfolio, like my project. So,
Oh, people
skill.
do that.
People, of course, people do that. People even fake work experience on LinkedIn. Anyway, so skill is the most important, but I feel it goes hand in hand with network.
Wow.
Well, that's a good answer. That's a good
Yeah.
answer.
That fake
Network.
work experience for LinkedIn now. How you go do them?
You didn't see the person they dragged on Twitter? Was it last year or something?
Oh, that
The
Kenya
where
man, Abi.
that they were not working at. Most times these companies don't even check through their staff list. They just, you can actually put that you're working at Google, right? It's something you can just put on your LinkedIn now. Until maybe Google reaches out to you and says, "Oh, you don't work with us. Why is that on your profile?" But people fake it.
Wow. That's if like that's shocking, but it is what it is, yeah. It's the ghetto.
Hmm?
But I have something before Maureen talks, please. So if you were to go back in time and probably stand next to Gabby of 2 years ago, what will you do different in your learning phase? Probably.
What would I do different in my learning phase? Mm, is there anything I would do different?
Exactly. I feel like you had it. I think it was quite easy for you, probably because you started from the Lord's way. I'm not saying people that did not start with the Lord's way are not having it good though. No, no, hitting me. I'm not saying like I feel like it was a bit on
I
par.
think
Like
there's a good point. I feel I've had things come easy because I was actually at the center of God's will. So I didn't really have to struggle for. I don't really have to struggle for much. But if I were to do something differently, um, I think it would be to make more friends in the data space, and also to like put myself out there. So I don't put myself out there that much, because I mean, but I think I would put, because when you put yourself out there, that's when people actually know this is what you do, and then they reach out to you, and that
Yeah.
in turn converts to you, having influence and making money. But I think that's really useful, especially if you have the skills. For instance, there's no doubt that Abefe is really good with statistics. Even if he doesn't sell himself, you can tell from his work. And I feel that if anyone wants to have something to do concerning statistics, is the person that comes to mind. I know I've reached out to him in the past, because it puts himself out there. So putting yourself out there is really useful. I think I should have done more of that, because most of my opportunities have come from, people going through my Twitter profile and saying, "Oh, you do this, you do this. We would like you to work with us." So yeah, I think that is what I would have done differently. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. Maureen, do you have something for
Yeah.
me?
Oh yeah, yeah. About the whole putting out stuff out there. Papa knows I struggled a lot with the whole social media stuff. I'm not really a fan. Papa knows, and lately, of course, I'm trying, but I only put out Tableau. If it's not Tableau, I don't know what else you want me to talk about. Maybe once in a while, I'll just say hello, hi, and pass. But would you advise the beginners out there to also put themselves in the public, like Abafé did? Is that a very good stuff? Because why I'm saying this is because I'm more of the opinion of you have to, you just have to be good. If you put, even if you, I don't know if anybody can be biased about this. I feel like what sells you more is how much you know, not how much you put out there, right? Example, you can reach out to someone on Twitter that knows think in quote that knows their onions, but at the end of the day, you meet the person and the person's talking gibberish, like babadash. So at this point, do you think there is a time for you to put yourself in public, or do you think you should give yourself more time to learn before you start putting yourself out there?
Yeah, you should actually know what you're doing before you put yourself out there. If you don't know what you're doing and you put yourself out there, you might just be setting yourself up, because then people start to reach out to you, and then you don't have the capacity to deliver on what you say you can do. So, to an extent, know what you're doing. Well, putting yourself out there actually depends on how you're putting yourself out there. Are you putting yourself out there as someone who knows how to do this, or are you putting yourself out there as someone who is learning? You can also put your learning journey out there. Oh, I just did this. I would appreciate some comments or some feedback. That is also you putting yourself out there, but you're not, you admit that you're not there yet, but you're in the process. That also helps, because there are a lot of people who are on the same journey as you, and they would like to have someone they can relate to. So most times when you put this kind of content, or for instance, I've noticed that most of my posts that get engagement is maybe, oh, I just started the data at the ALX course, so I just took this certification course. People start to reach out. I'm in the process of taking this course. What pointers do you have? So putting yourself out there can be you selling yourself, and it can also be you just learning in public. So,
Yeah.
but if you're selling yourself, then you should have a little bit of something up your sleeves before you can actually put yourself out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before
Thank
we
you.
go, I'd like to talk about imposter syndrome, because this particular stuff is basically for our audience, and not like it's just for the beginners, but for the most part of them, they are starting out in their data journey.
Yeah,
So
you
yeah, a
meant
lot
to
of
for
people are starting out, and I'm oh, sorry about that. They feel like they're not doing much. They see, oh, especially this putting yourself out in public. That shit is depressing. If you are not putting yourself, if you're on the other side of the line, right? So you get to struggle with it. Oh, I feel like A is putting this, A is doing this, A is doing that. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm doing right. Right. So a lot of beginners out there, I get people on DM. Oh, I'm starting to learn Tableau. Can you just help me learn? I'm starting to learn this. Can you help? What do you think the best way would be for those people in that kind of niche of doubting themselves and having such imposter syndromes?
Okay, so imposter syndrome is actually a good and a bad thing, right?
Mm,
I remember starting my first job with Udacity. Like I said, I was taking the course I was supposed to tutor on. And even the
Mhm.
course I was taking, I did not really understand it, because, like I told you, Udacity's approach is learn by doing. They just bombard you with really tough concepts and expect you to go and learn on your own. I was
mm,
strictly Python. So, me tutoring on something I did not fully understand, I felt so inadequate. I felt like I really did not, I was going to, like flop. But I think this pushed me to do a lot of learning. So, because I was tutoring, there's a way teaching helps you learn more. So because I was tutoring, I had to, know my onions. Because these students will ask you questions. There are a lot of times I've been asked questions I don't know the answer to. Sometimes I'll just come out clean and be like, oh, I don't know the answer to this. Other times, because of embarrassment, I'll just try to like beat around the bush and try to, maneuver the question. But like I said, I faced the imposter syndrome thingy, but it pushed me to learn a whole lot more. I was always on YouTube. I was picking every section of every topic bit by bit to understand and break it down, and it pushed me a whole lot to help me learn. So imposter syndrome is a good and a bad thing. Is a bad thing because I mean you might actually know your onions, but because it's tech, there's always someone out there who knows 100 times of what you do. You can't be the best. Even the best is not the best. So that's why it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing because it helps you be better. It pushes you to want to know more. So if you can take advantage of the imposter syndrome, you can use it for your own good. But if you let it weigh you down and then you just give up, that's when it's something bad.
All right.
absolutely.
Thank
So the cure, one sec. The cure to this imposter syndrome thing is to keep learning, in as much as you feel like, yeah, okay, to
Yeah,
keep learning. All right.
keep learning.
Yeah. Sorry, Gabby. So Gabby,
Mhm.
you mentioned so like in few words, so you mentioned something about your data school. So when should we expect something? You don't need to give me like a pinpoint, but when should we be expecting something?
So the data school is currently running. I mean, I've shifted my trainings to the data school. I mean, I even spoke to you about coming
Yeah,
on board at Data Fest.
yeah,
Um, it's running, but we want to get the first cohort out of the way for this year before we push for something more. So I'm still going to talk to you about it, but it's currently running. We have one part of it sorted out. We have the bootcamp part sorted out. It is left with the self-paced courses. Recording courses is not easy. I mean, you do
yeah,
that and you know how stressful it is.
yeah.
So that is what is in the works right now. But yeah, it's currently running.
So before Maureen asks the top three questions, I would like to ask something, and this is my final question for the day. So obviously, we know that when it comes to a beginners learning, roadmap in quote is always a thing, and I'm of the school of thought that roadmap is subjective, in the sense that if you're someone that has a computer science engineering background, you will obviously start with Python. You understand? Someone like me will start with Excel and statistics. So from your own perspective, what do you think is your own ideal roadmap to data analytics?
Well, I usually say Excel first because we all agree that Excel is very broad. I mean, and you can be a data analyst just solely using Excel, right?
Mhm.
Then, if you don't want to visualize with Excel, you can also learn a visualization tool. So maybe Power BI or Tableau. And if, as you keep growing and your company moves their data to a database, you would need SQL, right? So I believe those three are sufficient. But data analytics is quite different. There are some companies that they don't even use any of those tools and they use something similar. But I feel that you should just learn a spreadsheet tool, a visualization tool, and the querying language. I feel that is enough. In what
Yeah,
order I don't know, but learn Excel first. Um, you can learn Python first also, but if you consider yourself a smart person, then you should learn Python first. Because if you're not, you might give up. So if you think you're a smart person and you like challenges, then you can learn Python first. But I think Excel, visualization, and SQL, I think that is
yeah.
enough.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
So,
Maureen,
All
on to
right.
you.
Yep, yep, yeah. Yeah. So, Gabby, we're about to wrap up the session and we get to ask the three, top questions. Very generic, not too much stuff. So, in few sentences, can you, can try relate to us the best advice you've gotten so far as the data analyst that has helped you grow to this level?
just keep learning, right?
Oh,
Just
that's
keep
very,
learning.
that's quite
Just build the skill. I feel it is impossible for you to be so good and lack employment. I just feel that. I mean, there are a few exceptions, right? You can be extremely good and still maybe your
and
village
not
people.
have a job. Please don't say that. Please don't say that.
But
Because there are some
it
people that are extremely good, but they don't. They don't.
yeah,
I
is
think
very
the
rare.
problem will be from them not networking enough. It's not even about
Yes,
skills anymore.
yeah. Because if you're so good and you don't put yourself out there, no one will know, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't really have to be, putting yourself on Twitter. I mean, you can talk to friends, talk to relatives, just let people know what you're doing. But the major advice is keep learning. Be very good, right? Be very good. It's tech. I mean, people are sleeping on this 24/7. People are waking up to this, and you're just putting 1 hour per day. You can't compete with them. The trick to learning is, learning. So just keep learning. Yeah, that's the best advice I've gotten.
Okay, of course, this will follow with the question of the worst advice. Maybe something you've heard and like, I'm not so sure. Maybe not this. If you
The worst advice. Can I think of something? The worst advice. I don't think I can think of something at the moment. I
all
might think of
right.
remember.
Okay, then lastly, if there's a word you'd like to say to the beginners, out there, what would that be?
I mean, opportunities abound. The unemployment rate in this part of the world might make it seem like opportunities do not abound, but opportunities abound. I don't think I've met anyone who pivoted to tech and who regretted it, right? So if you're a
Mm.
beginner, just keep at it and make sure you learn. Eventually, your time will come. I feel so. So just keep learning. Your time will come.
Hmm.
Mm. Thank you very
No,
much.
thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Gabby. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's so nice to have Gabby with us once again. And to be honest, I mentioned that this man is a man of few words. He doesn't talk too
Yeah,
much, but when he talks, so when he like makes those points, he makes it so concise and just so laser, like laser focus. He's a man of, and he has money. I will collect money from him today. We are meeting. We are seeing today. We dey meet for you in lack convocation. I go collect money from your hand. I go turn I go tax you. Now my screw they come. I will tax you. Don't worry, but that's
But
that's by the side. It's so nice to have you with us, Gabby. We beaconed on you. You listened to us and you answered us. Sparing us 1 hour to talk to our viewers and also us too, because one way or the other we learn from our speakers too. You
yeah,
understand?
exactly.
Every time I learn from everybody. You understand? So we are so happy, and from the team, it's a big thank you to Gabby for showing up and giving us your time. It really means a lot to us. And to our viewers, as you can see, this is the end of the session. We don't want it to end, but he's a busy man, he's a money man. He has to go and make some money for his family, his wives and kids. They need him, they need money. So
Gabby,
if
are
you
you wait, we have the single ladies in this call. Gabby, as you can see, you're not seeing okay,
yeah,
you're not seeing
okay,
anything whatsoever. So I am representing the single ladies in this
ladies,
audience, right?
mhm.
okay.
Please, about don't they put aside for our guy? Which one is wife and kids? I don't
So
understand.
wait, Gabby, are you married or not? Tell me, just say it. Are you married or not? Wait,
I'm not
just say
married.
it. You're not married?
Um,
Are you it's
Mhm.
like
no,
wait, break their hearts for me. So do you have
Mhm.
like a woman you want to get married to, Abi?
Of course, there'll be a woman now, but I don't think I'm
their will, he never get. So
All
he's
right, so
still
that's your
single.
cue, ladies. That's your cue. I don't. So make do of what you want to do. Make do of with that information. Yeah. If you enjoyed this session and you made it to the end, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Do you have any question for Gabby, or you want to like drop a comment for him? Please go down to the comment section and drop them. We'll also be linking Gabby's Twitter and his LinkedIn, and also his link to his data school. You can check him out. He's one of the
Yeah,
top guys out there. I'm not even like capping right now. I mean that much.
no
As
capping.
in, it's very, very good. So you also get the chance to see a fine boy teaching. You understand? Teaching there. You
Hey,
understand? Yeah, you are not allowed to taboo girl. You cannot learn anything again. You don't have to learn from him again. Onirano. All right. So from my end, it's a nice session. It's a wonderful session, and that's it. Maureen.
yeah, guys, of course, you can see me all smiles, of course, and I know you guys had an amazing, amazing time with us, and we kept the time. It's about an hour right now, so make sure you keep sharing, like Abufe said. Make sure you keep subscribing, share to your friends, like, comment. We'd love to hear your feedback, guys. I don't think I've gotten enough feedback from the last video we posted about Mr. Deola Yusuf. If you know you resonated with that story, Wofi story, GB story, Anoma story, please make sure you drop your feedback with us. And from the team and I, have a splendid day, guys. See ya.
Bye. Yeah. Bye. Thank you.
for having me, guys. Bye.